We moved and we have this great like front window, but we have no blinds or curtains on it.
Right.
I'll show you when we finish here. Can you see me any
Nice.
better?
Oh yeah, a lot better.
All right.
I can see a little edge of the light, but that's it's not a big deal.
All right. Well, let's just get this damn thing started already. I feel like I'm wasting all of your nap time a day.
God, no worries, man. Don't worry about it.
So, um, you of course are Scott Fish, the legend, Scott Fish, and this is one of the reasons I've been wanting to do this show, is because of fantasy football, I've been able to make these great relationships with guys I'm friends with now that I actually consider friends. You being one of them, that live in remote parts of the world that I probably would never wind up in. Now I might, like Minnesota, which is where you're from. So I want to thank you for taking the time out to join me today. Mr. Fish, would you like to introduce yourself?
I like that you called Minnesota a remote part of the world. I suppose a lot of people don't really want to come over here. It's a bit cold. I'm Scott Fish. I run the SFB Fantasy League tournament. Write for DLF. Well, haven't done as much writing lately, but I work behind the scenes mostly. A lot of coding and database stuff.
Okay. Well, the reason I say remote is because, I played against Stephon Marbury in high school, and he's a Brooklyn guy. I'm a Brooklyn guy. And I remember when he went to Minnesota, just how he would say there was nothing to do and everything like that. Now, I'm a little bit, I not at this point. I mean, he's played in China, he's played overseas, but at that point in life, I think I was a little bit more cultured than he was, or had seen more things than he had seen. I could be wrong, but just like I said, it's easy to make fun of Minnesota. Come on.
Oh, it is. It definitely. We make fun of Minnesota. He's right. There isn't a ton to do here. There's definitely a lot to do in a lot more states, but I enjoy it. I love it. I'll probably never move. So.
Well, and that's a good thing. And like I told you, I'm going on vacation, and I really have I have these daydreams that I'm going to wind up in Minnesota, and we're going to go to a Vikings game, and we're going to drag Rob Leith with us as well, who's out there in Mini. But we'll see what happens. If the big advertising dollars start rolling in with this show, I'll definitely head out there. But at the rate we're getting off to, especially with my production quality, that might be a few years down the road. You mentioned the SFB 360. Now, that is kind of what is your huge claim to fame right now, and is just taking on a life of its own, as you were just showing me. Like, there's like all these like spin-offs of it, with people creating apps and graphs and charts and writing articles on it, and it's taken on a life of its own. So, how does that make you feel as the father of this thing?
It makes me feel pretty proud. I mean, I always thought that the whole Devy dynasty stuff would have been the stuff people would know me for, or I didn't expect a league I created to. Well, I should go back. There was another guy at FF Oasis with me that kind of started this league. He didn't really have it. He didn't do it the way I'm doing it. But he started what was the baby little egg that turned into this. So his name is Mike Kaus. I got to give him credit for originally starting a 60-team, 60-team league that turned into this. I've changed a lot to make it this, but I'm very proud of it. It's very, very cool, especially when those drafts are going on.
Yeah, it is a very cool thing. And you just gave credit to somebody else who kind of started. You've kind of expanded upon it. And I want to take a second to real quick. Another, friend of yours, mutual acquaintance for me now, is Zach Law. I know he's done a lot of interviewing of people, in addition to just fantasy football knowledge. So I've been getting some credit lately for this video stuff and kind of, these interviews I'm doing. But I want to, pay a little homage to Zach Law as well, because he does some of this kind of stuff as well. But now,
love Zach,
awesome guy, and like you, will do anything for most people. So, now you mentioned the Devy, which for those who don't know, and again, I don't want this to be like a whole. We can talk football. but it's not supposed to be intended to be kind of like guys you like and things of that nature. So Devy has been getting used a lot more. The term has been thrown around a lot more lately, and as well as dynasty leagues. Now Devy is taking dynasty and like really going to a whole nother level. Is that correct?
Yeah, you can, at least in the leagues I run, you can draft guys that are even seniors in high school. I remember drafting Adrian Peterson as a senior in high school. I know that there's so many variations of it now, and I'm not even the greatest Devy guy anymore. Not that I was the greatest. I mean, I'm not a great Devy guy anymore. I know my stuff, but man, Ryan McDowell and Nick Whalen and Matt Caraccio and Rob Leith and guys like that are just absurdly good at it. And I just don't have the time with the son now. I don't have the time to devote.
And again, we'll get into your personal life in a moment. But I mean, isn't this like just really taking it to like is there fun in it at that point? Because there's not in watching high school guys and knowing that kind of stuff. But it's such a long-term investment, you know, to see if a guy that you draft in high school even makes it to the pros, you know, let alone be successful.
I think it's completely worth it because you're still, like any dynasty league, you're still having the rookie drafts. You're still playing the seasons out. This is just an extra draft you do in the off season, and you put it at the back of your mind for a while. I think it's well worth it, especially when those guys pay off, especially when you get, you know, Todd Gurley comes out and he panned out and you got him in the 4th round of a draft or something. And it's so worth it. And you generally forget the guys that didn't, you know, most of the guys that don't work out, you forget. Sometimes you don't, but yeah, I think it's worth it.
All right. Well, I mean, I'm just been getting into the dynasty over the last couple of years. Before that, I was probably just a seasonal guy. I've been doing more DFS, as you mentioned, as we talked earlier before we started recording this with the DFS stuff. But get into your personal life a little. You mentioned you are now a father. Congratulations again to you on that. I think, and I wanted to give you a chance to explain this a little bit. I think what people don't understand or don't know about you, people that obviously know you like I do know this, but you work overnights, you work manual labor, like, so you come home tired. You have a young son who is going to be the heir to the Devy throne, and is your pride and joy, right?
Yeah.
Where do you find the time to do any of the writing and the stuff you do for DLF and monitor the fishbowl and all this kind of stuff?
The truth is I hope my wife doesn't watch this. I just don't sleep very much. I'd say during my work week, I sleep on average about 4 hours a day. There are days I get 5 hours. There are days I get 3 hours, but I just don't sleep a lot during the week. I catch up on weekends, but middle of the week, it's tough. I always feel bad because I can't go on podcasts most of the time. I rarely can make things like this. I mean, we've been trying to schedule this for a while now, and it's difficult with that schedule.
Right. Well, okay. So if you had any more time in the day, is there anything else that you have an interest in or hobbies that you do try to squeeze into those free minutes you have?
You know, I barely remember what it was like before, but I did used to run a lot, and I really enjoy when I go out running. It just clears my mind. I get to just pop in my podcasts or music, and just everything else in the world just goes away, and I can just run, just me in the pavement for 20 minutes, half an hour, 2 hours. It doesn't matter. I can just keep going. So I think I would get back to doing that. I haven't run in a couple of years now.
Okay. I mean, any other life goals? Like fantasy is addictive. So let's just say you had to go to like Fantasy Football Anonymous and you had all this extra time now in your life. Is there anything that you like kind of have an eye on that, you would try to get involved in that way?
I think it would probably be something that is kind of fantasy related for me, but I would probably take more web development classes and really, really go. If I had that kind of time, I'd probably go after that because there's really good money in that. I could do it as a side job, and I love it. It's just, it is such a passion of mine too. Web development is just a passion of mine. I love every minute I'm working on that stuff, and I forego sleep way too often because I just get caught up in coding. I'm in a zone. I think I'd probably take some classes, and yeah, I've been self-taught for so long that I think that that's probably something I would enjoy, learning.
Right. Okay. I mean, you talking about the coding now. Are you self-taught, or do you have a formal training or education and all that?
No. I went to college for business management and finance, and then, we might get into that later. But no, I'm self-taught. I started developing web pages and stuff like that 1995, I believe. So that was just basic HTML back then, and I've just been picking up and learning more things here every year since, and this is where I am now.
I remember chatting on Prodigy before AOL kind of took over, and
right.
It was like so cool to be able to have this new technology. But I, like you, and we've bonded in other ways because of this. I'm like you, that I'm self-taught in a lot of stuff that I have no business of knowing, and I'm not great at it, but I have a basic concept of the Photoshop and iMovie now and audio programs, even though I'm seeming to have all kinds of problems recording these interviews, whether it's the video, the lag in the stream, or the audio quality. But you mentioned you went to college for business management. Where did you go to college?
I went to Gustavus Adolphus College. It's a small liberal arts college in St. Peter, Minnesota.
Okay.
And then I ran a video store after that for a bit, and then I was a personnel director at a Renaissance festival for a bit.
Okay.
And then I started working at Pepsi. Being in that personnel director role, there were like 500 employees. I was looking after or whatever, and at the video store there were 15, 20, something like that. I didn't like it. I didn't enjoy being a quote boss type. I didn't enjoy sitting at a desk all the time or doing that kind of work. I'm like, someone made a joke that I office spaced it. I gave up all that management crap, and I went to manual labor. I really enjoy it. I really enjoy working with my hands and exercising while I'm working.
Right. It does come down to what you enjoy doing, because it's you that has to live that life. It's not other people living it. So if it is that what makes you happy, then all the more power to you. And it's hard to, I don't want to say you're not the boss type, because you do get things done. You ran a great site for years, and you manage all these things well, but you do it in a way that is hard for a lot of people. And I have trouble with this sometimes too, in terms of delegating responsibilities or being that boss, if you will. But you manage, and you come out unscathed, and you really are, like I said, you're one of the most well-liked guys in the entire industry, which is that's quite an honor, I think.
I think part of the reason people seem to like me is because I'm just not on Twitter enough. I think if I were on Twitter more, and I would
start talking politics or go out and make some crazy just put out some crazy tweets,
hot takes, and arguing with people. I don't generally do that too much in real life even, but I suppose you can really rub people the wrong way by phrasing something poorly on Twitter, I've noticed.
Right. Honestly, that's a little bit like kind of what hopefully this series helps bring out, is because a lot of stuff gets misconstrued in 140 characters, and you can really totally get the wrong impression of a person based on just following their timeline. But to see a little bit more behind them, you might take things with a grain of salt when you read them the material or their tweets or what have you. So now, are you completely Minnesota, born and bred your whole life, or have you gotten out of there for any period?
I am born born in Ely, Minnesota, up there by the Minnesota-Canadian border. So
Okay.
you'd figure I'd have much more of an accent. I do have a little bit of an accent, but man, I was born up there on the Iron Range where it got to 60, 70, 80 below with the wind chills at times.
Right. Wow. That is, I that's not for me. I couldn't handle that at all. Period.
No, I can't either at this age. When I was a kid, I'd want to go outside and build snow forts in that. Now I want to stay inside.
Yeah, I guess I don't know. I've always been a kind of, like you mentioned, running. Like I've been an athlete. I told you I played basketball all the way through college, and I can run, I can jump, I can do all that kind of stuff. I can't really jump that high, but I can, physical stuff. I get bored very quick though. I have to have a ball around. Like if we're playing football, I'll play football all day. If we're playing basketball, all day. But to get me to run down the block, it's like, this is boring, So the snow stuff, I guess, even as a kid, like if playing football in the snow, that was fun. The sledding, I got bored after maybe like 1 or 2 runs. But is Garrison Keillor somebody that your family is fond of?
They might be. I honestly, I might be just a little young for Garrison Keillor, even though he's still part of Minnesota culture here. Yeah, a lot of the Minnesota personalities, even Bob Dylan, he's a little before my time. Me being just turned 36 here. Not that I don't like Bob Dylan. I just, a lot of the things that are traditionally known for Minnesota, maybe Prince.
Yeah. Why? I mean, seriously, what do you have against Bob Dylan?
I got nothing against Bob Dylan.
He's an American legend, an icon. Yeah. Did you think there would be a Garrison Keillor reference in a fantasy football related show ever?
I never would have guessed he would come up today.
All right. Well, if you don't know who I'm talking about, you can Google it, Garrison Keillor, Prairie Home Companion, and why I know him. That we'll save for a later time. I want to ask you,
right there.
What's that? Tease? Yeah.
I said a tease right there.
I'm trying to tease. Here's another tease. If you need reference for why to come back to this show after today and after the first couple, I got Matt Harmon scheduled in the next week or so, who's now left the puddles that we for a larger stream with NFL.com.
Yeah.
Matt's another great guy. But let me go back to what we were talking about with Devy in high school and all that. How's your feel?
Oh, man. I thought we were going to talk about Prince. I've actually met him about 3 times.
Really? Oh, that's a better story then.
No, it's not a better story.
It is a much better story. Absolutely better.
No, it's I work overnights, right? And guys like him and Kirby Puckett, when I met him, I work overnights. These celebrities, there's not a lot in Minnesota, but they go grocery shopping overnight because they probably just don't want to deal with the public.
Right.
So I've seen Prince at one of the Cubs I used to work at 3 times, and every time he comes up to like my nipple. He is super short.
Well, you are a large man though as well.
I'm about 6'3", and he's probably like 5'1". I don't know, but every time he comes in with this like 6 foot tall, gorgeous woman. I call her a unicorn because she's one of those girls that you look at her and you almost have to squint because you're not sure she's real because she's so beautiful.
Is it the same woman?
It was all 3 times I saw him. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That was within a year or so span. So I mean, I don't know how quickly he moves on, but yeah.
No, I mean, he literally I appreciate his work and his music and everything like that, but I'm kind of blown away by the mystique that is him. Like people just be hypnotized whenever he's mentioned or around, and I don't get it. Maybe I would be if I saw him. Did you feel any of that sensation when you saw him in the flesh?
Nope.
Were you hypnotized by his?
I would not recommend saying that if you come to Minnesota to visit me and Rob, though. Minnesotans consider that sacrilege to talk bad about Prince.
Yeah, I can see that. I mean, I still don't have a Halloween costume that's coming up this weekend, and maybe I'll go as Prince. You think I could pull that one off?
I don't think. I think you got a little too much muscle to you. Yeah. You might be a little too tall.
Well, thanks for calling it muscle. I appreciate that. All right, now tell me your Kirby Puckett story.
Oh,
I mean,
there's really not much to that one. It was after he retired. He was much heavier. I just saw him. I didn't really want to talk to him because sometimes you don't want to bother them when
right.
they're like, yeah. But I basically just walked by and nodded to him as I was working because he was in the same aisle as me.
No,
Not much of a story of that.
No, I totally get that. I've had a bunch of run-ins like that. I'm glad you mentioned baseball. Today is the first day of the World Series, and I do have my DeGrom shirt on. I am not a Met fan per se. I'm a Yankee fan. I know the two don't seem to go hand in hand, but I am a huge DeGrom fan. So thank you for bringing that up because otherwise I would have forgot to even mention that. Any other celebrities in Minnesota that come to mind? Other than the four we mentioned?
Well, there's some that are out there, but I think most of them move on from Minnesota. The Sean William Scotts and stuff of the world, they move on. The Josh Hartnetts, they're not in Minnesota. Yeah,
He's
Josh
Minnesota
Hartnett.
guy?
Oh yeah. He stayed around here for quite a bit. I don't know if he still has a place here, but as little as even during when he was really really hyped up, he still was in Minnesota quite a bit.
Yeah, I was just gonna say his career kind of tanked though.
Yeah, he started doing more plays and stuff. He went over to London to do plays, and I know way more about Josh Hartnett than I probably should.
I'm getting that feeling. I definitely getting that feeling. That's not a bad thing though. Like you said, I mean, he's from Minnesota.
Right.
Are you a Gopher through and through, or is there a college out there that we should know about that?
No, if I have to support a college team, it's usually the Gophers.
Okay.
I'm kind of college football agnostic. I love watching good football,
How about
but I always do root for the Gophers. That is for sure. It's not like I'm a diehard that has a bunch of Gopher clothes and go to Gopher games, but
right.
They are the team I do root for. Yeah.
So are you a big Richard Pitino fan now?
Richard Pitino fan. See, I'm such a Gopher fan. I'm not even sure what you're talking about.
Rick Pitino's son, right? Is a legend. Rick Pitino is
right.
a college basketball legend, and his son Richard is now coaching, and he's the head coach at Minnesota.
I think I remember that now. Yeah, I follow college basketball about as well as you probably follow WNBA. Okay. Last year, actually the last 2 years, I didn't even fill out a March Madness bracket. How crazy is that?
That is pretty crazy.
Yeah.
I forbid you from doing that again this year. And I will make sure to remind you, and you will fill out at least one this year. Okay.
Yeah, college basketball is not my thing, but I'll do it for you, Andy.
It's on record right now that Scott Fish is open to join anybody's March Madness bracket.
Oh, dear Lord.
You have a pool available. Make sure you mention and invite Scott Fish to your March Madness bracket pool. We started out by mentioning the SFB, which of course is the Scott Fish Bowl. And honestly, you have one of probably very few names that could actually make that title work. Well, I mean, including your name in the bowl itself. And it works. And even the initials at the SFB, it's just, it's like a perfect thing. I've been trying to get my guests to give away stuff when they've been on here. And you told me last year that anytime I had a forum that I was ready to give an entry away. So I'm going to use that now today.
Nice.
Let somebody know. I still don't know how we're going to determine a winner. But if you follow along on Twitter in the fantasy football world and community, and you are aware of the Scott Fish Bowl and have been trying to get into it and don't know how, being a fan of this show will get you a guaranteed entry into next year's. You, of course, need to be a subscriber to this channel. That is a prerequisite. But other than that, would you like to formally welcome a potential future winner?
Absolutely, yeah. If you want to give away an entry, I don't know how you're going to give it away for sure, just to a random subscriber. But yeah, Any fan of Andy's show is a fan of mine, so I'll make sure to get you a guaranteed spot next year.
That sounds like maybe we can combine this with somebody guessing how well you'll do in a March Madness pool.
Oh dear Lord!
And depending on
I'd probably do as well as someone in the office picking based on mascot or something. I didn't even realize who the coach of the Gophers was. That's how little I follow college basketball.
Well, that's all the more reason that this is an open and fair contest. This will be a completely random winner and completely random guess that somebody will nail how many teams you correctly get. So what I was going to ask you real quick, though, was how was your feel for college football coaching? Reason I asked is because I'm a big Miami fan. Been that way since I was, first got into college football because New York City doesn't really have a college football team. So Miami's been big in the news with firing Al Golden finally, and you being a big college guy. Do you have any feel for the coaching regime or coaching circuit, if you will? Or is it strictly the players?
I do not follow the coaching as much as the players.
Okay.
I follow bigger storylines when they come out. Your Jim Harbaughs and your Jim Moras and your Sarks and stuff like that. When those storylines come out, I tend to pay attention, but it's just not my game, especially the last year or so. I was mentioning with my son, I have not watched as much Devy tape as I used to. I just used to watch so much, and just this last year, it's gone way downhill. Luckily, I depend on a lot of guys who watch a lot more than me, and I can discuss the players with, and then I go and watch some stuff. But
now, did you just say you were talking with your son about this?
No. Now that I have my son, the time I used to devote,
okay,
is now spent on the floor playing with blocks or letters or teaching him what an octagon is.
Right. Would you like to share how old your son is?
He's 2.
Okay. Right. So I heard. I was talking to my son about Devy, and it just was like, please, like, this is why I'm saying your son is the heir to the Devy throne. He's 2, and you're having Devy conversations already. But you've cleared the record. It was not your son. You're saying since you've had your son.
No, he is so ADD that I'm not saying he's ADD. He's 2. He has no attention span.
I get it.
I can't talk to him for very long before he's on to the next thing or jumping off a couch or whatever.
Do you try though? Does he watch football at all with you? Like when you're watching games?
I'll have the games on and he'll watch for a little bit. He'll, occasionally he'll throw out a touchdown or something, and then he'll go back to playing with whatever he's playing with. He's not big into football at this point.
Nice. All right. Yeah. I had my oldest son. He's not playing lacrosse. I had him from the moment he could walk. Like we'd just be around the house. I was just constantly throwing balls at him. So his reaction is great.
My son loves throwing footballs. That's for sure.
Well, I would have him lined up running routes. Like I would pretend I was a quarterback, and
that's awesome.
He couldn't even talk, and he'd be running. But now he could care less about football. But
that's awesome.
It's not bad. And hopefully that's something to do with how he's become an athlete now. But he's still got a few years to go. He's a junior in high school, but we'll see what happens.
Wow.
Yeah, I started sooner than you. Let me ask you quick. What's one thing that nobody knows about Scott Fish that we should? Or maybe we should.
Wow, one thing that nobody knows about me that you shouldn't.
Well, I mean, somebody could know. Your mom, your wife. But I mean, somebody in the circles that we dabble in. Like, what's something that people would be like, oh, really? I didn't know Scott was into that, or I didn't know Scott did that, or has been there, or any exotic place you've traveled.
Well,
movie you've seen
I'd say one thing most people don't know about me is that I love to grill, even in January. I'm out there, 10, 15 times grilling in the middle of January in Minnesota.
Wow. And you mentioned before 80 below wind chill.
Yeah, I've never grilled in that cold, but I love to grill. It doesn't matter if it's the middle of winter. I'll get on my deck and grill. As far as traveling, my wife and I love to travel. It's part of the reason we waited 12 years to have our son, is because we spent all that traveling 3-4 trips a year going to different places. I'd say our favorites are probably Maui and Scotland. My cousins live on Maui, so it's really fun to go out there and visit with them.
Vastly different.
Yeah, yes. Sunny and nice and warm versus very cloudy and rainy. And
what is the appeal to Scotland for you?
Well, I'm about half Scottish.
Okay.
A lot of Scottish heritage on my dad's side. My grandparents. My dad was born in the States here, but just a ton of Scottish history for me. And my parents go there every couple of years. They've been to the place where we last lived in Scotland, and our family last lived in Scotland, and taking pictures. I've never been to that place, but it's just a really, really awesome place. My wife actually learned Scottish Gaelic.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah.
Now, is it true you should never go full Scottish?
Never go full Scottish.
No truth.
I don't know about that.
All right. I'll try to think. You said Maui versus Scotland, but before that, you were talking about grilling. Any grill tips or secrets that anything in particular you enjoy? A rub, smoke, wood chips.
Well, you can't go wrong with some wood chips, but I say one of my favorite things, and it's so common, it's almost not a big deal, is I love putting habanero sauce on just about anything I grill.
Okay.
It's
not very something Scottish of you.
No, but my wife and I really, really love spicy food.
Okay.
Especially habaneros. So yeah, that's something I really love using. Other than that, I'm a pretty bland griller, I'd say. I grill a lot of pretty normal things that most people grill.
All right. Well, I'm going to ask you a grilling question, another grilling question.
Oh, good Lord.
Do you from experience now know like when it's done, or are you like me that you have to still make a cut to check if the meat is done or not?
I almost never have to do that. I generally know, and if it's even in question for me, I just leave it on a little bit longer. But
all right, now I'm saying because I've seen people that do the field test where they'll pat the meat and say, oh no, it's not done yet. And I'm saying, like, how the hell do you know that? Like, really? I know there is a different feel to the texture of it, but I still can't do it. I like to cook, and I'm actually not an awful cook. But as far as if it's done or not, beyond me.
Yeah. I can say when I first started grilling, even the first couple of years I was out there grilling, I was probably the same way every once in a while with chicken. Just had a bad feel for when it was done. I'd either have it a little too done, or I'd have to throw it back on the grill. Chicken was pretty bad for me for a while, but I'm pretty good now.
Okay. Well, I want to. I don't know if I'm getting too personal with this. I know you've made this, a public thing, but you had a health scare, big health scare last year, and it was scary for everybody that knows you. Happy you've made a full recovery, and I bring this up because I've seen you tweeting about another guy that you've been a little concerned about, and I don't know if you've heard from him yet. I'm talking about Andrew Bowman of Fantasy Acumen. I hope you have. I don't know if you have, but it is kind of a serious thing, and we're kind of the same age, and a lot of people that we interact with are kind of in our age range, if you will. So I just wanted to give you an opportunity if you want. I know you completely set up for this because I didn't give you any advanced preparation and I just thought of this now, so this is all just coming out. But is there anything that you would like to highlight or advise people as far as like how they can monitor their health, or things they should check, or organizations that if somebody was looking to donate to a charity or things of that nature?
I started donating to the American Heart Association pretty much right after that. My heart episode was caused, it technically was called myopericarditis. Basically, I got a cold virus that was in my lungs or whatever, and it decided to hook a left turn and attack my heart, sent me into a heart attack. And all the symptoms are the same as you would see on TV. It's crazy how much that helped, because had I not had my arm go a little tingly, I might have just gone to bed and tried to, felt like, I'm just going to sleep this off, because I had all this chest pressure, and sometimes that happens with acid reflux or whatever. Right. But I had the chest pressure all the way up into my jaw, and it was painful. And then my arm was getting all tingly and stuff. And I knew that, and I was lightheaded, short of breath. I knew something was up, and came out and told my wife, "Don't laugh, but I think I'm having a heart attack." And we got me right to the hospital. And sure enough, popped me in we took me to the closest clinic, and then they popped me in an ambulance, got me to the hospital, and I was there for a few days. It was interesting. There's nothing really you can do about that, though. It's such a fluke. Right. LeBron James could have that happen tomorrow because it was caused by a cold virus. I mean, we all get colds. So, right. But Andrew Bowman, his was he had to have a stent in. I know that I did talk to him this week. I finally got a hold of him after about 3 weeks. Good. And I'm not going to discuss what was going on.
No, we don't need details of that. Just I'm glad. Good news.
He had a heart attack. I think it was the day before me, last November. But I did get a hold of him. He's doing okay. Let's just say he's doing okay, and I wish him the best going forward for sure.
Good, and like I said, that's good news. I'm glad you heard from him. I'm an acquaintance of his. I don't know if it's from the Fishbowl or from another industry drafter, a mock or something like that, but I know we've crossed paths before. And so, you mentioned that on your timeline. And given what you went through, my mother just went through breast cancer in the last year and a half or so. And I know a lot of people on Twitter were really supportive of that. And, I know people were supportive of you as well. So I just, I hope I didn't offend you by
no, not at all. Not at all. But I don't mind talking about it at all. If anything, a lot of people, when they hear that a guy, I was 35 years old. I had just turned 35 years old. So a lot of people, when they hear that, they tend to take a little closer look at how they're eating, and it can happen to younger guys, Right. And I'm 6'3", 215. I'm not in bad shape either. So
he's running. He's grilling, not frying. He's in excellent shape. Well, I thank you for sharing that. And again, as you mentioned, American Heart Society. If anybody's looking for some, what's that?
Oh, I said association, American Heart Association. No big deal.
Well, I don't want to end on a sour note, so let's end on something a little different. Any favorite movies, favorite artists? What's currently like the song playing in your head? Something along those lines.
I don't really have a song playing in my head. I listen to mostly podcasts. I'm at that age that, all of our dads were when they started listening to talk radio all the time. And I listen to mostly podcasts. I do listen to some music. Movies, I just saw The Martian, loved it. The other day, I popped in The Departed because I don't know. Sometimes I like to go back and watch old movies like that. Can't go
wrong with The Departed.
Yeah, it's just classically awesome. And,
I'm sketchy on The Martian. We just saw The Walk because I had to see that in 3D before it was out of theaters, and dragged the kids with me. And they actually, I was surprised. They were like, awesome movie.
Did you watch it in IMAX 3D or just?
Oh, it was real 3D. It wasn't an IMAX, but it was still amazing. I don't know how they filmed this because it looked like they took cameras, put them in a time machine, and got actual footage from 15 years ago or beyond.
Man.
Because the buildings look like they really look like the buildings. And
that's impressive.
Yeah, I don't know how they did it. I really don't. But speaking of movies, before that, you mentioned Matt Damon. I was going to say Johnny Damon. Matt Damon. Black Mass. If you have not seen Black Mass,
I haven't.
Okay, definitely a good movie. And one of the actors in there, he's actually, I'm not seeing him come out in a lot of other stuff. He looks like a chubby, huskier version of Matt Damon, and I was swearing that was Matt Damon, like with makeup on, and sure enough, it's not. But excellent movie, Black Mass. I recommend to anybody. There was something else I wanted to say. Oh, you mentioned podcasts. Please plug your podcast because I'm actually hoping you're on this week. I just did I won your shallow and empty contest. Thank you very much for 20 seconds of nothing. But I was nice to win nonetheless. That is apparently airing on the next episode. But you were the reason I started listening. Nothing against Ty and Frank. I like both of them very much as well. But the fact that I know how busy you are, for you to give your time and say, I'm going to be part of this podcast, I was like, wow, I got to check this out. And then you disappeared for the last 3-4 episodes. Now, these guys have been doing a great job carrying the torch.
But it's missing something, right?
It is missing something. It is definitely missing something. But please take the moment to plug your podcast, and then we'll say our goodbyes.
No, those guys do a great job. Ty Miller and Frank, Dynasty Frank. They do the Bull Rush podcast. I'm part of it too. The schedule has not worked in our favor for a few weeks here. Hopefully I'll get on very, very soon. I'm not sure if I'll be on the one that Andy's going to be on. I did not record with him this week. So
that's the one it's on.
Yeah, okay. But the Bull Rush podcast, it's on the Fantasy Sports Network. You can find it on iTunes or find it on Twitter and go get the link. Try to subscribe to it. It's a really good show, especially when I'm on.
Yes, it is.
I'm just kidding.
No, you're not far off, but it is really a good show even when he's not on. So not to take anything away from Ty and Frank, but Scott definitely adds to it as well.
That's awesome.
It's just an entertaining show. If you are into fantasy football, it's fantasy football talk from just guys, being real. I'm not trying to, give you any fluff or, sound, smarter than they think they are. Because I don't think they think they're that smart to begin with, but they're great guys. You are Scott Fish at ScottFish24. I've had it up there the whole time. There's an overlay you can't see. I could talk to you all day. I really want to thank you for giving me this much time. If somebody's got to cut it off, because I know you and I are both we can do this all day, and before you know it, I'll have to go to work tomorrow, and you'll have missed your nap and picking up your kid from daycare and all that. So I don't want to cut it, but I have to cut it. And thank you for your time today. He's giving away an entry into next year's Scott Fish Bowl. Make sure you're following him on Twitter. Any parting shots you want to take at anybody, or anything you want to add?
No. I want to say thanks to you, Andy. The Nickel Press is awesome. I'm a few episodes back in of the Hanging Einsteins, but man, you're doing an awesome job with this. I'm really impressed and looking forward to where it goes in the future for you. I'm
trying. I hope I found a niche that works for me and for an audience, but we'll see what happens. I'm having fun doing it, and we'll see how far it goes. But it's really due to my guests. I mean, I've had big names so far. You are right up there with everybody else. So and more coming. And as I mentioned in a few places, I got some some musicians, some pro athletes, some actors coming along. So we'll see what happens. So you can add your name to that. You can put this on your resume. You did Hanging Einstein. All right, buddy?
Nice. I'll do that. Thanks a lot, Andy.
All right, no problem. Thank you.